I actually can't believe we're on episode 10. Uh, so about the Bondo on the other side of the truck. Let me show you what it looks like now. So as you can tell, I've sprayed some blue paint just to cover it, make sure nothing actually rusts. I haven't done any sanding yet. I figured we would get back to that a little bit later. And we can also look at the underneath of it, so you can actually see what that looks like. But back to the fender. Alright, so the reason why I also decided to go back to the fender is the fender's laying in a nice little area trying not to get scratched. So I figured we'll go through this. I know you saw me put the other side on, but you did not see me take it off. So we'll go through it. We'll take this side off, which actually entails a few more things. And then from there, we'll put the other one right back on. I may fast forward a little bit more through that because you've seen some of it. The other fender is already started to look a little dull with that finish. I thought that was going to last a little longer. And considering I'm making the whole rest of the truck nice, once again, I bought something from that certain company that's supposed to finish these really nicely. So we'll give the fenders a shot too and see if we can make everything look good. This fender is not as bad, but there is rust right here. It's not through yet, but it's bubbled, so it's not something that I can sand down and paint. Jeep has a lovely idea of putting two pieces of metal exactly together. Then the moisture gets behind the two pieces of metal, and you get this. This is rotting from the inside out. There you go. We're going to get started on this fender. This will probably be a couple episodes because once again I'm trying to keep it under 15 minutes, or around 15 minutes. So I'll catch you in a little bit. Let's dig right in and start taking this apart. So the key to remembering to do this as correctly as possible is one, keep everything together as long as you can. Meaning put the screws back where they came out. And try to get oil on the back of every screw or bolt or nut that you can. Once again, in this case I'm using a 12mm wrench just to put on the back of that piece of plastic. So when I'm unscrewing it with the 8mm ratchet wrench, or ratchet with a socket, it actually comes undone easier. Bolts are off. Down here where I use those little rivet inserts, they actually just put a screw in a piece of plastic in the back, which definitely not factory, but actually not a bad idea. There is one back here that snapped, and there was one original rivet thing left that's so rotted I can't get it out, so I'm going to see if I can pull the whole plastic fender off, which, hey, the aftermarket thought worked. So let's see what I can do. All right. A little bit of a hammer. Pretty much got it out. I'm gonna have to see if I can wiggle the rest of this. Alright, good. If it focuses, that little pot right there is the pot that got rotted and stuck on. Besides that, my fender's off. Once again, have to clean all in here. Not as badly rusted as the other one, but definitely has some dirt. But there we go. So I'm gonna try to take care of this. I'll put it up out of the way. Like I said, I have some sort of a paint product. It's not really paint, I guess. I don't know. We'll find out what it is when it gets here. So this right here is a factory piece. It goes under the Jeep. I'm thinking it's so it doesn't, if the mud kicks up and you have the doors off, it doesn't hit you as bad. I don't know how that's going to work with the bigger tire anyway. I'm going to probably do a poll on this to see if we like it with it on or with it off. I think I have a couple of still pictures, so that might be part of it. But we'll see if we can get this off a little bit. We'll do the next step. Here it is off. Here's the problem. I have 3 screw holes here, and none of them are in good shape, so they're all going to have to be ground off and at least these put back in. There's also a piece of factory tape right here. So if I decide to keep this off, which personally I think looks better, but we'll see what you guys think, I have to fill in these holes and either weld this up, which I doubt, because that's the only way I can get oil and the water out of the back of here. This is all like one sealed up unit, hence probably some of the reason for some of the rust. But I think I can put a plug in here, so you know you finish painting the truck, pop a rub plug in on each side. It's probably something you'll never even notice. So we'll probably take a poll on that and see what you guys think. Anyway, back to it. There we go. Alright, so what I did is I used the back and forth method. Going in, going out, going in. That was pretty rotted. So I'm just going to put the nut on it so I know where it is. So once again, these little tiny screwdrivers. A lot of people give them to you for free. A lot of salespeople and stuff like that. These are one of the best things I think you could have as a mechanic. Always have on you. Always have at least one of them. They're good for taking all the electrical connections off. You saw me doing it with the body work, bending it in and out. It has a little tiny magnet on the end of them usually. Very awesome tool to always have on you. So a lot of this is going to take some time because it is rusted. You'll also notice that a lot of this, you'll see me using the WD-40. I'm not actually a fan of WD-40, so don't by any means think I am. I will be switching over the BB Blaster at some point because I found a can. So, you know, always have to remember, I don't necessarily have everything I want. So this right here is an aftermarket piece. This is for my winch, my lights, pretty much all of it. I'm just trying to get it to the point where I can get it out of the way. So remember one big thing about this. Whenever you're doing stuff like this, and right now I pretty much know what I'm going to be doing. I'm not saying I won't do it at some point, but I do pretty much know what's going on. But if you're not sure, the world of cell phones is a great thing. So now you can actually be taking pictures. So then you know what your step is, which is a very good idea. So remember, if you're not sure, take pictures. It's always easy to press the erase button afterwards. So no matter what, and who does it, aftermarket isn't always the best. Because I did as good as I could about hooking the whole wire up and all that for the light. I ran it through the frame. I did all this stuff. Still, here it is here. It goes through the fender without an actual quick disconnect. So I am going to have to snip the wire there, run it through, and then run it back through later and fix the wire. Even if I'm the one doing it, I should have probably put a quick disconnect here. The question is, will I later? I don't know if I have one. So we'll see. So I'm going to be working back and forth between I believe there's 6 bolts in front over here that hold the front of the fender on. There are 4 bolts under here. There is another 4 bolts that looks like a battery tray up on top over here. So I'll be taking those 4 bolts out. There's also the bolts, I believe there's 4 of them that go up on here that connect to here. So pretty much everything else has been disconnected. When I do take this off, we're going to take a look at some other things in here. If I could actually reach the O2 sensor, I might decide to change the O2 sensor while I'm in here, because that was giving me somewhat of a problem before. It was working, it was just the heating part of it was working slow. So 130,000 miles, probably the original O2 sensor. Most likely a good time to change that. Probably paint a couple other brackets. I'm going to look at the steering shaft, make sure that's okay. I believe these have a pretty common problem with that, so I might end up changing that while I'm in there. So we'll just keep going.